And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series here at Watkins Glen International. Sorry for a little bit of the late start. I had a couple of technical difficulties, but we got it figured out. My name is Jake Reeves. Got Dean Biggles with me here on the cams and helping me co-announce this bad boy. And Dean, I'll be honest with you, we've had a fantastic past couple of races this season. You know, we had a fantastic race last week at Nashville. Jeremy Gardner getting his third win of the season, able to solidify himself as one of the contenders to battle it out for the championship here in the Goat Locker Racing Truck Series and Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series as well. But Dean, this track's actually more your style, I guess you could say, because you've got a lot of open wheel experience and you got a lot of road course experience. So here at the Watkins Glen, go ahead and tell the folks about this place.
Well, you're definitely taking me out of the shadows and in the spotlight on that one then, Jacob. Welcome, of course, to everybody else there. I do apologize for the late delay, but we're going to get this underway. Well, of course, my dear friend, it's different, isn't it? You're going to go left and right. It's a different variation of the Glen, but you still have the heel, the toe, the boot. That's the tricky part of the track that does catch some of those drivers off. I've yet to see trucks of this caliber even make their way around the Glen, so I'm absolutely ecstatic and excited, and I hope you are too, my friend, as you said, because, you know, venturing into the road territory. I don't know the Glen as much as I would know the likes of other tracks like, you know, Silverstone and Spa and stuff like that, but hey, you know what? If it's a new day, it's a new dawn, and this driver's going straight on through as well too. A few of those drivers are on the warm-up lap and the formation lap there. Brennan in charge at the moment, should be with the grid as we'll get all this information up.
And folks, right before the race, I actually had a pre-race interview with Brandon Evans, the driver of the McConey Setup Shop number 39. I believe that is a Chevrolet out there. It is. And matter of fact, Brandon Evans right here going to be on the front row. He'll actually be starting second right beside Cody McElwain, but more on that in a moment, as we're going to run through the running order real quick with McElwain on the front row with Brandon Evans. Got Trevor McManus, Jake Ham. They will be in the second row. Patrick Drabick and Mark McCreary will be in the third row with Jamie Barkis, Jacob Ellingson in the fourth row. Nicholas Lemberger, Joe Yates, he will be in 10th. Regis Clark, James Goshen, James Kaufman, Charles Fiskus, Jeremy Gardner, he's going to be in the back. That's going to be an interesting one. And Doug Ellingson going to round out the field as they are coming to the line, getting ready for Barney to wave that green flag. And we have a green flag. We are underway up front. Cody McElwain going to be on the bottom. Evans up top as they come into this steep right-hander at a 90-degree corner. McElwain goes down to the bottom, still got it. Evans trying to see if he can keep it side to side. He will not do it, and everybody's going to file out in single file formation as they go up through the S's.
Welcome to the roller coaster of the Glen, of course, and so far so good. Most of the drivers are all the way through the up and down roller coaster ride, as I just mentioned there. Still in the lead there. Cody's got a great launch off there. Under a little bit of pressure right now from Brandon in the background. A few of their drivers, Trevor and Jake and so forth. But no changes, my dear friend Jacob, in the top 13 order. Quite remarkable. They're playing it safe. And, they realize it's 40 laps, so, you know, can't win it on the first one. Oh, and that's Cody going way off the track at the moment. There may get you a little strike against your name there for off-track invalidation.
Yeah, and you can go as wide as you need to here at this racetrack. I mean, really, there's no out of bounds here at Watkins Glen. And, I mean, if there was one, I mean, hell, they'd all be screwed, honestly, team, because you got to be able to go wherever you can go to carry momentum. As you see a lot of hard racing back here around the back area back there.
Oh.
Regis Clark got one guy getting tagged, slipping and sliding
That's
down to the
Gardner.
bottom of the racetrack. I believe that was Jeremy Gardner.
Yes.
Very unfortunate for Jeremy Gardner.
Look at
having
three
to start
wide.
in the back.
No.
3 wide going
Come
into
on,
the
boys.
airfield. Wow,
Wow.
what hard racing. This is only the second lap right here, Dane.
Yeah, and this is a pack down there from 10th down, my friend. So all of a sudden we had two different packs of cars that have all just emerged in here. Okay, and it's actually fantastic, isn't it? Because all the time those oval racing, my dear friend, we always are focusing at the business end at the moment. Now we're down at the other end, because this is where all the action is. Not too much is happening at the top end. Trevor's still on the back there of Brennan. And Cody's still in the lead of this race, but this is where it is. And yeah, you're definitely going to get your bang for your buck here at Watkins Glen.
And just to mention just a second ago with Brandon Evans, like I said, I talked to him a little bit about this. He said that tires is going to be one of the big deals here tonight. He said from what he is seeing out there on the racetrack that they're wearing like 1% a lap, especially the rears. Having a smaller fuel cell this week with 15.9 gallons instead of the regular 18.7, which is a full load in these trucks. So he's expecting around maybe 25 laps on a run. And with 40 laps in this race, they can go just past halfway. And that's going to be really key right there. That's going to be key as to who can try to stretch it the longest and maybe be able to stay out there as long as they can. As we got a couple of them slipping in the back. Got the 0-4. That was Charles Fiskus able to get it spun around, get it back straight. And Dean, this right here, road course racing, if you will, you don't see a lot of cautions in road courses on iRacing because, I mean, you got to literally have about a 10-car pileup before they'll even throw the damn caution.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Jacob. It's because of the fact that, you know, you've got like a minute and change, don't you, before you're even going to discover another car on the track. Let's go back and look at this one. This is the thing with the power of these trucks, isn't it? That's more of a braking into the corner. Too much speed. Perhaps you're a racing driver. I'm not quite sure because, once again, I'm used mainly to open wheels or GT3s and stuff like that. It just seems that, you know, a little bit too quick, too eager into the corner there. Unfortunately, the rear end just slips out. It's heavier, isn't it, at the rear end of the car? So I'd imagine it's just too much speed into the turn, and bingo, you're around.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the same thing that we've actually seen on some of the ovals that we have seen here in the past couple of weeks. I mean, we saw it at Nashville a couple times. Definitely saw it at Richmond numerous times. As you see Fiskus right here just doing all he can to try to hold it onto the racetrack, getting spun around over there in the boot. But you're going to see that a lot with drivers overdriving the corner, trying to see if they can catch the guy in front of them. And when they just end up locking the brakes up, it ends up locking the back tires up. And then at that point, you're basically, I mean, you're steering for your life. I mean, it's like you're driving on ice when you try to slam it on the brakes, basically going in a straight line. So very, very different type of race right here for these guys. Obviously, this is the only road course on the schedule. And Dean, I'm sorry it's going to hurt your feelings, but thank God we'll be back to ovals next week when we go to the Kansas Speedway. But Cody McElwain got about a 1.5 second lead over Brandon Evans. Trevor McManus, he is still sitting in third. Jake Hammond fourth. And, you know, really, Dean, you know, this actually, I actually kind of like this racing to a certain extent because it's kind of like Talladega in a certain point. Granted, you don't have the bump drafting. You don't have the aerodynamic drafting, the speeds, all that. But it's like survival. You know, you got to be able to survive. You got to be able to keep your line and keep momentum, keep driving, and don't spin out like Charles Fiskus did earlier. Be able to hold your position and just survive and hold on to the position that you have.
And we're seeing an overtake at the moment between the Jameses, the 85 in the end, the 25. And, you're not offending my feelings at all, my dear friend, about back to oval, because I do so much of the road courses that I really actually enjoy sharing the casting box with yourself and other commentators on ovals, because I like learning it, and it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different experience of racing, and that's just something I really, really do love and endure. And the more I learn, the more I actually fall in love with it. And I believe other people too that had to have more of an open mind to taking oval racing a little bit more serious than a lot of people say, oh, just turning left, just turning left, just turning left. No, it's different. You keep teasing me with Talladega too, my friend. You get to cast a race in Talladega with yourself or anybody here on our fantastic network of NASCAR. But we shall see. And Brendan at the moment is in P2. Cody up the road there. Look at that. Not too much happening at the business end. If you have to go back to about the likes of Jamie now, who's hunting down Mr. Mark Carreri. That's the 15 machine right there with the little reflection on the side of the number, so you're not going to miss that here. The Goat Locker Racing 6 of 40 we are down here, Jacob.
And you just mentioned Jamie Barkus and Mark McCreary. That's actually the closest battle that we have on the track, because folks, if this is your first time watching a road course, this is very, very common, even with the NASCAR truck series right here, with the Goat Locker Truck Series racing, any type of vehicle. That's just how road course racing is, unless they get on a late race restart like a green, white, checkered or something like that. That's when really all hell breaks loose at that point. But this is common right here for a road course for everybody to get spread out. And, I've mentioned, over the past couple of weeks, and I'm sure, everybody's probably wishing that I would shut up about it, but throttle management is going to be key here 100%. It's key everywhere that we go. It was key at Richmond. It was key at Indianapolis. It was key at Nashville last week, but it's more so here because I'm actually watching Mark McCrary as he just came off of turn 4. You're riding on board right here, not turn 4, the last turn, if you will, riding on board right now with Jamie Barkus. You see Mark McCrary, he's trying to keep that truck stuck to the asphalt, but you literally see the tail end just wagging as he's coming off the corners. He's trying to put so much throttle down to try to get away from Barkus. He knows Barkus is catching him, but he's trying to put so much throttle down that it's just upsetting the truck and he's getting sideways. So we're going to have to watch out for a lot of that here this evening. Yeah,
Jacob, we're riding shotgun with him at the moment. In fact, we're going to be riding in his helmet cam as you're seeing that as a driver. And I want to engage in a conversation with you. Look at that. It's not just himself. You've got a couple of trucks up the road here. So just before I get you to even tell us how to drive around this fantastic Glen, you've got a gaggle just like that. One little mistake and bingo, you now have 3 cars, in fact even 4 in the background there, as Jamie's bringing it to mark. And there's also Jake Ellingson just lurking in the background. Let's have a look on board actually from Jake and tell me how it feels there. Jacob, you're a driver in this truck and you can see the different racing lines there. As you said, it seems like you're taking your dog to the park, isn't it? Because the tail's wiggling all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically a lap at Watkins Glen. Granted, this is actually my second favorite road course on the iRacing sim. You're going all the way down this front stretch, wide open. Come to this hard 90-degree corner right here on the right side as you see, Ellingson trying to get it down in there. Got to turn the wheel as hard as he can. Then you go through here. You're going through the S's, going through the shifting, trying to keep the car straight, or the truck straight, trying not to hit the guardrail, trying not to get in the grass, hit the rumble strip. That would really jack the truck up 9 ways to Sunday. And then you go down this long back straightaway, straight into the boot. And this is where you see a lot of action happen with guys trying to make overtakes right here. To the right, to the left, back to the left, back to the right, and then around the carousel right here. That's where Ellingson is, goes all the way around this carousel. This is where you're really using that throttle management that I was talking about. And then going down another shot right here. Once again, Ellingson can go as far as he needs to. Gets down to a 90-degree left turn, then a 90-degree right turn, and back to the front stretch, and that's the lap around Watkins Glen.
And these trucks, I tell you what, my friend, they are very durable because a snap of oversteer, you just see the corrections that these drivers are having to make. Now, on an oval track, you make a correction of that magnitude, bang, you're in bingo, you're on the fence, you're going door to door. And I think you believe you quoted there the other day, you're at a boxing match, aren't you? You're punching the shots there and you're receiving them at the same time. But this is what the great thing about these trucks are. They're very, very durable. It has a bit of flexibility. You can make little small mistakes and not have to visit your friendly doctor in the medical center and perhaps not even worry about saving 10% off your car insurance here for the Goat Locker Racing Series. And there it is. I was waiting to bring that one out eventually. Still no changes at lead. We do have a few incidents that have occurred, and Dougie, my dear friend, probably is not agreeing with the Glen right now. Let's find out what happened.
You see Ellingson right here. A bunch of guys trying to get around him. Ellingson way off the pace, about a lap down, and then he just gets on the throttle way too much. Noses it straight into the guardrail. But check it out right here. Patrick Drabek starting to slip back just a little bit. He was sitting in 5th. Mark McCrary gets around him. Barkus got around him, and so did Ellingson. Where is Patrick Drabek going? He's slipping back just a little bit. Already slipped back 3 spots. Coming right here off the last turn right here. He's got 3 guys in front of him. All 3 of them just slipped right past him.
Yeah, nothing from race control saying as to why Patrick's gone off the road, which is quite surprising. But we're right on board right now, Patrick, because he wants to take the 27 machine into the Glen, into turn 1. Gets it done.
Actually, what it was.
That's Jake.
Wow.
Jake's gone a little bit. Jake, got to keep it out of the fence there, my friend. Just keep it pointing in the right direction. We'll drop a place there to Joe Yakes. And just like that, my friend, the Glen will giveth, and the Glen will definitely destroyeth, and that, wow, that's just...
Now he's going for another spin right through the S's, and now he's going to block the track. You may get the caution right here, folks, that you was aiming for, Ellingson parked right smack dab in the middle of the S's. If anybody comes flying through there, and here they come.
Oh, you called it.
Wow.
You called it.
Got him right in the right front of the truck. Wow. Ellingson gonna have to tow him. Was having a very good race up to that point. Everybody else tried to back down, but one driver didn't catch it right there coming through the S's, ended up taking him, or basically taking him out of the race, if you will. And, you know, to go back to Patrick Drabik, why he slid back, he actually missed the bus stop. He slid right through the bus stop. He missed the corner, almost hit the guardrail, and then just completely drove straight off the course. Everybody else shot past him. And then Drabik got stuck right behind Ellingson. As you see it right there, that's where it all happened. See him all the way off the track, trying to keep it straight, getting through the grass. Got 3 trucks trying to get around him. But now Patrick Drabik slowly starting to make his way back up through there. He's still got to catch Mark McCreary and Jamie Barkis, try to get back up there in that top 5. But, wow, I mean, it's kind of getting spread out, except for the fact that second and third starting to really close down. Brandon Evans and Trevor McManus really starting to run him down right here.
Yeah, you mentioned, hey, I'll tell you what, every single day I have the luxury of commentating with you, my dear friend. Nothing gets past Mr. Jacob. He is the sharpest tool in the shed. I even got a chance to have the luxury of pulling you in during a caution, of course, when you were racing last week. And tomorrow, I believe you're back into the commentary booth with me after your adventure on the behind the wheel, which is another aspect. But Trevor's now, he's adventure behind the wheel there, and the number 9 machine is trying to adventure his way up into potentially P2 because he's got Brandon Evans in his sights.
And I think Brandon, what he's trying to do, honestly, you know, Cody McElwain's actually putting down some very, very fast laps right now, hitting a 1:14.736. Evans, he's back there maybe about, give or take, 2/10 off the pace from Cody McElwain. Trevor McManus, he's really opened it up. He's actually faster than both of them right now at this point from the last lap at a 1:14.5. So McManus starting to turn on the heat right here about halfway into this fuel run. Like I said a minute ago, go about 25 laps on a fuel run. And, you know, this right here, I mean, this track is so crucial, even with the road courses, because usually, folks, you see guys going, you know, maybe even starting the race with the first gear or even in second gear, but then usually they go second, third, fourth, and that's it until they have a restart. These guys, they're going down right here. I'd say they're probably in about second to third gear right here. McManus going through, and then you're probably going to hear him shift as he goes down into second right here, going into the last turn, and then from there on it's second, third, fourth, all the way up to fourth gear, and then he gets right here in the right-hander. This is when you're on the brakes, on the clutch, on the shifter, going from fourth, third, back down to second. You're shifting constantly as Trevor McManus almost loses it through that very first turn. He was catching Brandon Evans big time, all up in his tailgate, if you will. Now he's going to have to re-rack and try to do it again, try to run him down once again.
The heat is on, as our fantastic commentator, Will Tyler, would say. The heat is on, and the heat is on in the streets here of, well, not really the streets, of course, the road course of the Glen, and you can see. But that's the thing that really surprises me, my friend, because if you're in the likes of an open wheel car or a GT3, that sort of correction and mistake will definitely have your door into the fence. I'm trying to use your door references, of course, but yeah, you certainly would be knocking on heaven's door if you want to go back to the old movie of Daytona back in the day. Oh, I'm really bringing out my age now, aren't we? But here we are. We are bringing out anything 13 or 40. The question now I'd like to ask you, and welcome everybody into the chat as well too, is Barney's not looking very busy at the moment as they start another lap of 14. Tires, which again, that's the crucial part you mentioned, isn't it? How punishing are they going to be for these trucks in the Glen?
Yeah, and according, you know, I'm going back to what Brandon Evans said on this right here. I mean, yeah, 1% a lap. So, you know, right around that's what he's expecting, especially the rear tires. And, you know, some folks would think, oh, well, the front tires are going to burn more. No, what you're doing, I mean, you're on the gas, you're on the brake. And going back to what I was saying, sorry about that, folks, but honestly, I think what it is going to be right here is when we go for a pit stop right here coming up. Like I said, we talked to Brandon Evans about the tire wear and about 1% a lap. You might actually see some guys run it as far as they possibly can, run it as far as they can with the fuel, and then they just say, you know what, the hell with it. I don't even need tires. I'll just go down and get gas and try to get some track position, try to extend the lead. And maybe that's what Evans is actually trying to do right here. He may be slipping back a little bit, let Cody McElwain burn his tires up, and then Evans have enough of tire at the end of this race. Granted, folks, it sounds crazy, but I've seen a hell of a lot crazier strategies on iRacing. I think that might be Brandon Evans' strategy right here.
Yeah, and I do apologize. The pitches have, my connection has been disconnected from this session at the moment. So perhaps for a second, my dear friend, as I try to rejoin there, we'll just have to take a commercial break. I do apologize. We'll get these pitches back up as quickly as possible. Don't go anywhere.
And folks, welcome back to the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series here at Watkins Glen. And we have been zoomed in, zeroed in, if you will, with this second place battle right here. Brandon Evans, Trevor McManus, and Jake Ham. Ham has actually closed the gap up on Trevor McManus. McManus way off the track, almost getting sideways, coming out of the carousel and going into the final two corners. But Jake Ham has slipped up here. These guys basically started first, second, third, and fourth, and they're running in the same exact spots that they started in. But Jake Ham is really putting the pressure, and here goes Trevor McManus, gets sideways off the last corner, able to get it straight. Jake Ham putting the pressure on him right behind him. And now Jake Ham going to set his sights on the second place driver. That's Brandon Evans.
Yeah, have a look at the replay of that one as everything is going to resume itself. There it is. This is that final corner again. Another little mistake, and bingo, you're going to drop a couple places like that. There it is. Like a 929 stock exchange. It's all gone pole-shaped, but he still has time to go. Still continuing battles, of course. You have Jamie right tucked up in the gearbox there of Patrick Trebek, who got the job done, I think it was. Yes, there is. So go back and have a look at the replay of what happened here. Mr. Patrick, or Sir Patrick, or Lord Patrick, whatever you want to call him these days, he's certainly a feisty and feisty driver. Bingo, job done. They're like take candy from a baby. No offense, of course, to Jamie.
And that's just textbook road course passing right there, folks. I mean, I've seen that kind of passing 9 ways to Sunday. These guys right here, they're doing it textbook 9 ways to Sunday, but some of these guys not necessarily textbook. I mean, Trevor McManus, obviously not textbook on how he got off that last turn and basically just handed over that third place to Jake Ham, but passes are textbook. You're not going to see a whole lot of beating and banging and door rubbing and door banging, as my colleague Dean would like to say, that I say a lot of, door banging. You're not going to see a lot of that here, but now you're going to start to see some guys jump down pit road right here, basically going to try to split it in half, split the stages in half, which is not a bad deal to do right here, smack dab right here in the middle of basically a run. So run 2 straight runs halfway through the race and then just get out there. So we got a couple of guys going in right here, going to get it lined up, and this may bring the rest of the field down right here, Dean.
I think it will, actually. You know what? Sometimes the strategy doesn't always pay off, and then you got to do it in the pit road, as you're seeing the two drivers at the moment there of the 85 machine there of James, and he has Charles up the road. Fiskus, who's gained 1 place, and James has lost 2 places, and that's that notorious corner, of course. It's called the best drivers you've ever seen in the Truck Series off guard, but this time around they were safe and sound as they're going to start themselves another lap around the Watkins Glen. Welcome everybody, of course, tuning in. Apologies on there it is, and I called that a little bit too quickly, my friend, because that I didn't realize that turn 1 was a little bit more notorious there for Charles.
Wow, and Charles Fiskus basically spun himself out right there. James Goshen, absolutely nowhere for him to go. He was all over the brakes, tried to get it woed down. You're going to see it right here on an instant replay. See Fiskus right here in front of Goshen right here. And once again, the same thing that I was talking about, just drove it in, locked the brakes up. The tail end of the truck just gets spun right there. And then James Goshen, absolutely nowhere for him to go. Couple of drivers going down pit road. I believe that is. Who is that right there? Is that Mark McCreary? Yes,
yeah,
it is. Mark McCreary going into pits, and then a couple of guys starting to follow him.
Nicholas.
Dean, this is what you called right here.
Yeah, Nicholas, Jake's gone in there as well too. Doug's still in there, and that's it. So more importantly, you have Jake Ham now bringing in Brandon D. Evans, and Cody's still the one that's going to be making a call very soon to his team, into his engineers, saying box, box, box. When are you going to box? Of course, 21 to go now here at the Glen. And the tyres, you said, if you're looking at 1% a lap,
going in.
Punishing. Yes, you're right. Cody's gone in. There it is.
Cody McElwain, the leader, going in.
And Brandon didn't stay out.
Dude, Brandon's going to stay out with Jake Ham. So this is the strategy that Brandon Evans was trying to do. This is exactly what he was trying to plan on doing. He wanted McElwain to go up there, burn his tires up, go ahead, let him go in, get his tires, and now Evans going to try to stretch a little bit of the gap, but the problem that he's going to have, McElwain going to be on those fresher tires. He will start to eat back into that lead ever so much, because Brandon Evans obviously is going to have to make a pit stop right here.
Yeah, well, Patrick's elected to go there. Jamie's followed him in, so it's all about Brandon. Everything's on Brandon's shoulders right now. You're leading the race. You've gained 1 position since the start. Jake's gained 2. And the truck is starting to feel like you're on ice, my friend. It's slipping and sliding absolutely everywhere. How long can you hold up? More importantly, what is the time that you're going to continue to hold up? Because the more time you are losing on your track, and even more than anything, the maximum risk, maximum reward, mate. Because one wrong mistake right now, you're on the fence, and then all that risk of staying out for an extra lap or 2 is all done and dusted.
I mean, I think, honestly, he's going to stick with the strategy that me and him talked about unless he decides that there's a different strategy. Wow, checks up very hard. He's going in.
Oh, there's a spin as well, too.
Damn. Wow, trying to figure out if he wanted to go in side by side, going into the pits right here. Wow, it looked like Ham didn't know if he wanted to stay out or not. He was actually going to figure. I think he was wanting to follow Brandon Evans in. Literally, folks, this is racing at its finest right here, door to door, going down pit road.
Oh, you're going to be relying on your pit crew right now. Spot your braking point perfectly. Look at that, they're almost side by side here. Very difficult, of course. You had another driver exiting the pit road. Oh, he's missed it a little bit. Jake's missed it a little bit. That's going to cost you milliseconds. That's almost like a whole pit stop when it comes to Formula One. You're talking fractions of seconds, and actually, Jake's come back out again. What's happened? Why is Brandon still sitting in here at the moment, and why has he been delayed for so long? He's taking a little bit more fuel, gas. What's happened?
I think Brandon went in and got tires, and Jake Ham did not.
Oh.
Jake Ham went in and probably just filled it up, did not take the tires, and then gassed it straight out. Evans went ahead and took the tires. That's going to surrender to the lead, I believe, to Mr. Joe Yakes, who started 10th. He's up here in 3rd.
He's still yet to box, but he's got to go down pit road. He's got to do it now for sure.
He's got a pit. Yeah, he's got a pit right here.
If he doesn't, he's going to be in big trouble. Let's have a look. It seems very smooth and collected, doesn't it? The rear's not sliding around on him so much. But then again, look at that. Cody's hunting him down big time, my friend. It's called tires. That's not Cody. My apologies about that one. That's another driver behind him, but there is the 87 machine. He's definitely struggling at the moment. He's not. Is he going to go in? Going to switch it up there, my friend? Yes, you have to. Go. No! He's staying out for another lap! Even Barney's got a startled face to his eyes because the car behind Cody, Joe at the moment is one of the back markers just lapping him like just taking candy from a baby again because of the tires.
Yeah, and Joe Yates, I mean, actually, this is a pretty good strategy call right here, Dean. Just stay out and run as long as you possibly can. I think Brandon Evans, he actually, Cody McElwain made him do this right here. I think that's exactly what it was because McElwain went in. Evans had no choice. He thought McElwain may run just a little bit longer than, what he actually did. He saw McElwain go in. He said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go ahead and go in and get myself 4 fresh tires. So I think Brandon Evans may be playing a little bit of cat and mouse, trying to screw with some of these guys up here at the front. But he did get passed by Trevor McManus. He did get passed by Jake Ham and also Cody McElwain. So Evans actually slipping back to the 5th spot. Still waiting on Joe Yates to go in as they're trying to go around the lap truck of James Goshen right here. Put him 1 lap down. James actually sitting in the 10th spot, so good run for him. As you see Evans trying to find a way around him as well. He's going to get around him. Wow, a lot of lap traffic right here going into the final 2 turns.
Yeah, Joe's actually gone in finally at the moment, so Cody will resume the lead of this race as he had to lock up his brakes massively there. We'll continue back to this battle at the moment with Trevor. As the Knife Stone out there said, I see a ham sandwich. Well, at the moment, mate, you're going to see a 3 to 9 truck battling it into turn 1.
Here comes McManus, drops it down to the bottom, slides back in, almost comes around. Ham tries to pull the crossover, jumps to the bottom, not able to do it. He will fall back in line behind Trevor McManus. Right behind him, Brandon Evans trying to see if he can roll up here and get to this pack. They got a lap truck stuck right smack dab in the middle of them. I believe that is Nicholas Limburger. Yes, it is. But Trevor McManus getting up here in that 2nd position, trying to see if he can somehow reel in Cody McElwain. He's got Ham all over his back bumper as they go into the carousel, with McElwain having almost an 8-second lead over this battle for 2nd.
Yes, let's go on board with Jake Ham at the moment. You want a ham sandwich. You've got it right now. Riding aboard the number 3 machine, 1 position gain. Trevor up the road, 1 position gain. Cody still in commanding lead of this race, 17 to go. Oh, snap. I'm sorry, I'm just not used to trucks around the Glen as to the amount of, extra dynamic control you have. It's a heavy beast. It's got a lot of horsepower, isn't it? Don't hit your right foot too much because the gas pedal can be kind and also punishing.
Yeah, and Ham's actually driving completely different from what he did earlier on in the race. It looked like he was actually saving just a little bit, but we did see Jake Ham jump out in front of Brandon Evans. We was wondering why Evans was sitting in pit road. Well, it's obvious. Evans stayed in, got 4 fresh tires. Ham, he went straight in there, got gas, and left. And I believe that may have been the exact same thing that happened to Trevor McManus for this particular instance. You see Limburger pulls out of the way, lets Evans go, lets the lead lap cars fight it out. Absolute dogfight back here for 2nd place. Ham trying to put it right up Trevor McManus's you know what, if you want to at that point, literally all up in it right now. As these 3 trucks, there you go, got the beef going on, but all 3 trucks right here going for that 2nd spot as Cody McElwain still trying to pull away.
They're going to have to do something soon because Cody's going to run away with this race. And look at that. It's fighting. Has Jake 8.8 seconds I'm getting from pit road at the moment was his pit stop. 8.8 seconds. So
Brandon Evans is spinning.
No, Brandon's come out. I was about to go to Brandon and talk about the situation that he took the tires. You said a little extra on that one. But unfortunately, once again, it looks like the final turn has claimed another victim here at the Gert Locker Racing Series on the final corner of... That's right. We turn left and right here. Watkins Glen.
Wow, I mean, he was all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Actually, it looked like it was Ham. You're going to see it right here. Check this out. Jake Ham was smack dab in front of him. Evans goes all the way to the bottom. Ham pushes up, gets into the fence, and I think it might have scared Evans just a little bit to try to stay off of him as much as he could. Evans made an abrasive move, tried to make sure he didn't run into the back of Ham, ended up taking himself out right here. Unfortunate, because these three drivers was having a hell of a battle for that second spot. But unfortunate for Brandon Evans now, he's got all of that work that he's got to do to try to reel these guys back in.
He does at the moment. And this man at the moment has got all the work to do to get past the lap traffic up the road. There's Cody leading this race by a good margin of 9 or so seconds of change. You can see it on the ticker at the top there at the moment. And he's going to navigate his way past lap traffic at the moment. And hopefully the lap traffic will get out of the way. They don't really necessarily have to, but you know, in respect, of course, of Cody leading this race, he's doing a solid job. He's put that wonderful number 6 machine on pole, and he wants to continue to 14 more laps or so, you'd have to say, under full green flag conditions without a caution. Well, Barney may be very happy to see him. I'm sure Cody's family and everybody that supports him, and look at that, he's going to actually battle with lap traffic as well too. It's scary, isn't it, as a racing driver, after doing everything you possibly can, and you've got to be a little bit frustrated in there. You know that beep button, my friend? Maybe he is shouting that in the cockpit right now.
Yeah, I mean, but to be honest with you, he really doesn't need to be pushing the truck that much. He's got over a 9-second lead right now. Granted, you would, on the lead lap, you would want lap traffic to pull out of your way, give you the line that way that they're not slowing you up much. But I mean, hell, he's got 14 laps left to go in this race. Still got 9.5-second lead over Trevor McManus. I wouldn't push the truck at all at this point, at least until they start trying to run you down. Because if they see that they're actually going to start running you down, McManus, Ham, they're going to start pushing even harder. They're going to go up there and start burning their tires up even more. They see that they got a shot to possibly catch Cody. They're going to burn their stuff up right there. So that's me personally, if I'm Cody McElwain, I'm not pushing this truck that much. But yeah, it is very nerve-wracking sometimes, wishing that some of the lap traffic would get out of your way. Is
that the reason why I'm really going to pick on you right now, Jacob? I'm not going to leave this one down. Is that the reason why you went from first to 5th or 6th or whatever in the race last weekend that we'll talk about for the Friday series? No, I won't get into that, actually, my dear friend. You did a fantastic job.
Well, I mean, honestly, Dean, I mean, we, and folks, we may be getting a little bit here off topic here, but we'll keep you up with everything that's going on. But honestly, Dean, I'm not racing for points in the Friday night series. Obviously, me, Will Taylor call the race. You produce it on Friday nights for the Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. I'm not racing for any points. All I'm there for was just to get some seat time, get out there and drive against the drivers that we call every single week. And so I just wanted just a little bit of time. Obviously, Atlanta being a very good home track to me, and I just didn't want to get in there and, screw anybody's race up. Granted, I wanted to win. Obviously, it's my home track, and I wanted to have a good finish, but, I mean, I think we had honestly, that was a hell of a race. Side by side, we saw some 3 wide, saw some guys get a little bit antsy sometimes. You didn't know where you wanted to put your truck. You didn't know where you wanted to put it. If you wanted to put it here, put it there. Or if you wanted to try to take that 3 wide move. But, I mean, in the end, it came down to a late block, and we got wrecked. So, that is typical super speedway racing. That is typical. That's typical super speedway racing right there. A bad block. But coming into the last lap is what it was. Drivers are going to make those kinds of moves. They're going to make a bad blocker.
Oh,
They're
like this at the moment. It's on the inside.
Do it. Check it out right here. Back here in the back. Now we're starting to get a little bit of racing. Yates and Regis Clark back here. Wow. Maybe a little bit of door banging right there. You go, Dean.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
But Dean, these 2 guys right here, they're 1 lap down, but this is for the lucky dog. Should a caution come out on the speedway, you see it right here. Regis Clark right here. Looked like he might have got moved up the hill a little bit. I mean, these guys all over the place. They're just battling for 9th. These guys are literally driving their asses off back there in the back, Dean, even for 9th place 1 lap down.
Yeah, I'll take 9 any day of the week, my friend, because, unfortunately myself was put into the session by accident, and, it's plump last, so I'll take 9 rather than 17. then again, you were speaking in the green room with me earlier about that, and you're like, really, Dean, you've never driven a lap around anywhere here? And I'm like, no, absolutely not, my friend.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it one bit. I mean, folks, honestly, Mr. Dean Biggles looks like he has absolutely not turned a lap in any of these vehicles, but he still has the skill and the knowledge to be a co-announcer, and a damn good one at that. And I will say that on air with all truthfulness. Dean Biggles, hell of an announcer, hell of a producer, with us here tonight for the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series here at Watkins Glen. We basically seen it all, Dean. Here's the question I got for you. Can anybody catch Cody McElwain? You think Trevor McManus and Jake Ham has got any shot? Brandon Evans' shot has went completely out the door when he lost it right there off of the last turn. Does Trevor McManus have anything in the bag, or is this Cody McElwain's race to lose?
Well, Cody's last lap, my friend, was in the 14.6. It's 14.5, so 1/10 of a lap with 10 laps to go is not going to be enough to cut that gap that he has down the road, which is quite a significant gap. I think Cody's got this one in the making, and my friend, you are definitely getting a Christmas card from me this season for the very kind words that you just spoke.
I'll take a virtual card, I guess, at that point. But, keep in mind, folks, that even though all this is going on, these guys are still actually battling for points. And coming into this race tonight, Joe Yates, he's right there on that cut line. Jake Ellingson, we saw Jake have numerous problems last week. Obviously not going to be in the perfect position this evening. 10 laps down right now, sitting in 15th. But, Joe Yates really starting to put the pressure on Jake Ellingson. Even though he's not even really racing him, he's racing him in the points. So Yates right above that cut line. But how about this right here? Cody McElwain, from what I'm seeing right now in the playoff standings, he's not even in the top 14 from what I'm seeing, Dean. So what is the deal with this right here? This is something we're going to have to really get with the admins and figure out if Cody McElwain, which I'm assuming he is full-time here with the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series, but he comes out here and he gets this win right here. He's just going to push himself up into the top 5 with this win and get him lined up in for the playoffs. And what that's going to do is it's going to push Joe Yates below the cut line and put Jim Kaufman, who is sitting 11th currently right now in the points. It'll put him at that cut line. So this could be a serious deal right here of having a driver that is on the outside looking in, if you will. Cody McElwain making it look easy so far here tonight.
Well, he is. He is obviously a gentleman that says, okay, bring on road courses, please. Unfortunately for Cody, there is no more road races, so no more left and rights. And tackling these difficult circuits, of course, this historic circuit, this fantastic circuit, even Formula One raced here, practically everything that has 4 wheels or 2 wheels races around the Glen. And Cody's going to maximize this. And I tell you what, my dear friend, if there was more road courses in this calendar, this would be a man that would be right up at the top of the tables there with maximum points. But he's just maximizing his abilities and his skills at tackling the Glen, and he's doing it with absolute precision. Look at that. It's like, I mean, if I was sitting shotgun or even in the back seat with him as an Uber driver, I'd give him a 5-star any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a fantastic job keeping his speed up. And, Dean, I honestly, I do love the road course racing. To be honest with you, I just suck at it. That's just my honest opinion on it. I mean, that might be the reason why I'm not really a big fan of the road courses. I think it may also have a little bit to do with it, and you know this, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers know this, is that I'm old school. I love the old school type of racing. So I guess that's kind of where I don't see the road course racing a little bit, but it does throw some strategy into it. And Cody McElwain has had that strategy here tonight. He has shown the speed, and I'm sure that this is a race that he has had circled on his calendar for quite some time, even when they started up the season. And once again, really making it look easy. 7 laps to go left in the race.
Jacob, you want to go old school, my friend. Is it the birthplace, isn't it, of motorsports in the United States? Came to the old moonshining prohibition times, isn't it? And once again, we're only referring to that because it's historical of value. You to outrun the police and the ones that are chasing you down because you're trying to sell your liquor to very thirsty patrons, isn't it? At the end of the day, and hey, what you do? Beef up your motor vehicle and go as quick as you possibly can, there, Jacob. And well,
basically, folks, what Dean's saying right there, if you have a moonshine dealer in your area, get with him as fast as you possibly can and get yourself lined up. However they do it, legal or illegal, at that point, it really doesn't make a flip. I mean, moonshine.
I mean, obviously, the moral of the story is like, do not ban a liquor at all, because what you're going to do, you're going to promote crime. But then again, what was the what was the outcome of that? The birthplace of motorsports in the United States of America.
Absolutely, it was, and that's what racing was built on. Back in the old days, back in way before I was even born, way before I was even probably thought of, way before my dad was even thought of. Back in the old days, guys was supposed to, they was running moonshine, and what they had to do was they had to try to figure out how to outrun the law, because obviously moonshine was illegal. Alcohol was illegal at that point. So they had to figure out a way to outrun the law. So what they would do is they just soup their cars up, make them as fast as they possibly could, build the engines, throw turbo in it. Hell, if they had it back then, throw some turbo in it, get it to go as fast as they possibly could. That way they could outrun the law. And then finally they just said, you know what, screw it. Let's not even worry about that point. Let's just go ahead and let's just try to see if we can outrun one another, as we're seeing a replay from earlier with the Brandon Evans deal. Evans still sitting very comfortably right now inside the top 5, got about a 5-second lead over Patrick Drabik, who is sitting in the 5th spot. And Dean, honestly, this would be a good time right here, coming to 5 laps to go. Cody McElwain just taking the line. Let's see if we can do this.
Whoa.
We've never did this right here, Dean.
Yes,
let's see if we can go through the field, do a little through the field, if you will. We'll start with Cody McElwain and just have, just kind of a brief talk about some of these drivers. Cody McElwain, leader of the race, out to about a 13.5-second lead. Basically, all he's got to do, he just can't screw up at this point. Don't overdrive the truck. Keep the truck straight and not get carried away, because right now, sitting comfortably with the lead, looking like he's going to lock himself into the playoffs. Dean, what are you thinking right now about Trevor McManus?
Oh, he's got. If you want a goat and a locker combined in one word, there it is. Talk to Cody. He's got this well under control. Look at that. He's driving the pants off this machine. He's not backing off in this one too, my friend. He's doing 14.6s. Most of the field are doing 1:15, so he's in the 14 club, and consistently with it, even with the 13 or 14 second gap that he has, actually 14.17. So. Yeah, mate, if you want to call anybody a GOAT, Cody is the GOAT right now here. Now, as to Trevor, as you said, Trevor's getting 1 position. That's our next driver on our, engage in let's talk about the driver podcast part of this race at the moment there, my dear friend Jacob.
Driver podcast. I'm not exactly where you're going with this, but anyway, Trevor McManus, I'm not real sure exactly where he's going with this, folks. I have no idea, but Trevor McManus has had a very, very clean race. He's been able to keep the truck very clean. He has slipped a couple of times. We've seen him damn near lose it coming off of the last corner, but be able to keep it straight and be able to get a solid finish, hopefully, out of this thing. Still got 4 laps to go, but Jake Ham sitting right behind him in that 3rd spot, really starting to breathe down his neck. He's back there just lurking in the shadows, if you will, trying to see if he can maybe get McManus to look up at the top, look up in his mirror, and maybe try to get him thrown off. And not too far back, Brandon Evans, we talked about him. He's the one that saw Ham slide up the racetrack. Evans tried to cut it hard to the right to try to miss him from hitting the wall, ended up taking himself out. He's on the actual same straightaway. Literally just got on this straightaway. Ham and McManus, they're still up there. So Evans starting to reel them in. And then right behind him, Patrick Drabik sitting in the 5th position, that's basically where he started at. He's running 5th. I'm sure that's a perfect day right there for Patrick Drabik. Start where you finished. You don't want to lose any ground, but you'll take any ground that you can. Mark McCreer, we talked about him earlier on. He was one of the first guys to come to pit road, solidly in 6th, basically where he started at. Then right behind him, Jamie Barkus started 7th, and he's running 7th. Barkus has had some very interesting runs. And how about Jeremy Gardner? This is the driver that we really need to talk about right here, because Gardner, we talked to him last week, Dean. Gardner was one of those guys that, he said, after he won Nashville, he was like, dude, I'm just happy I won this one because I straight up suck at Watkins Glen. I ain't going to be worth a damn. I'm dreading it. I don't even want to be there. Well, check it out. He survived, like I was talking about earlier on in this race. He has survived, and now he's sitting there, the last car on the lead lap, riding in that 8th spot. Good run by Jeremy Gardner. He has got something to hold his head up high about tonight.
He has, and more of probably not what he's concerned at the moment, but what we are concerned of course, is that Jake Ham is on the back there of Trevor, hounding him and starting to reel him in with 2 laps to go. Is it going to be enough time? It's about a second and change between those 2 drivers. Cody has got this one in the bag, you'd have to say, as long as he does not make a mistake. Don't pull off the road too early, my friend, and sign all his autographs on your celebration win if the number 6 machine. But what's going to happen between these 2 gladiators, Centaurians, in the dying stages? 2 laps to go. Barney's waiting to wait that flag. It's been sitting there in anticipation for some time. And I hope everybody out there is enjoying themselves here for the Gert Locker Racing Truck Series, presented by the Nasra 360 Racing Network.
Ham's still trying to figure out if he can find a way to reel in Trevor McManus, just trying to fill his mirror full. You see it, Ham going through the bus stop, coming through the carousel. Still McManus really trying to hug down on the bottom right there where the rumble strip is, see if he can keep it straight. Obviously kind of swing it out wide. I've seen a lot of drivers do that. But Cody McElwain, here he comes off of the last turn, coming to take the white flag. Barney waving the flag. And Cody McElwain has absolutely put on a hell of a show this evening. He started up front, and he's led basically every single lap, with the exception of Joe Yates, who has led a couple of laps when he stayed out earlier on. As you see McElwain going through the S's for the final time, actually reeling in on another lap truck. I believe that is James Kaufman, and it is. So I'm sure Cody McElwain's not really going to be worried about trying to find a way around James Kaufman right here.
Yeah, Jacob, explain the feeling as a driver that, like myself, has never won a race before in my life. He's got to take some time at the moment. He's 14 seconds to change. How does it feel? You're on the last lap. You know this race is yours. What is the emotions going through a driver right now?
Well, I mean, he doesn't have it in the bag yet, honestly, Dean. I mean, my father would always tell me, he always tells me, you never count your chickens before they hatch. So he's got to get it all the way back to the line, make sure that he's got it lined up. He's still got 2 more corners, obviously putting a little pressure on Hoffman. Or Kaufman, not sure why at this point, but Cody McElwain actually almost doors Kaufman coming to the line, but your winner here at Watkins Glen, Cody McElwain, in dominating fashion here this evening, coming to the line right behind him. Trevor McManus is going to get the better of Jake Ham, so Trevor will get that 2nd spot. Ham's going to come across the line. He will finish 3rd. Brandon Evans just now finally coming off the last turn. He will end up finishing 4th. Patrick Drebeck back here as well. He's going to come across the line, get the top 5. Mark McCreary now just coming off the corners. We see a bunch of drivers just now getting to the end. Mark McCreary will get 6th. Barkus is going to get 7th, maybe, as Jeremy Gardner really started to reel him in. As you're going to see Barkus. Barkus is going to come by the line right here. There's Barkus, and there is Jeremy Gardner. That's the last drivers that is on the lead lap. And, wow, what a race all the way down the line. No cautions, but, still, Dean, a hell of a race right there by Cody McElwain.
Oh, what a brilliant performance, isn't it? He's loving the road course, and the sole road course he's going to have this season here in a dominating fashion. He's like, okay, bring on Formula 1 there. Let's get Formula 1 there. IndyCar perhaps. Certainly a driver of that caliber for the Gert Locker Racing number 6 machine has delivered it. Barney, we have to have a talk to Barney there, Jacob, because I'll see him waving that checkered flag. Barney! But don't worry about that, Barney, because the number 6 machine at the Glen is going to pull up for a picturesque photo. Congratulations, Cody. You've won the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series round at Watkins Glen.
Awesome finish for Cody McElwain, and gonna see if we can get a couple of these guys, jump them into the waiting room, maybe have a chat with the top 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a real quick commercial break. Be right back with the top 3 guys right here after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere. And folks, welcome back to Watkins Glen for the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series. Go ahead and give you a full rundown real quick of where everybody finished. Find out where your favorite driver finished. But Cody McElwain, he gets the win by over 13 seconds, straight up dominating fashion for Cody McElwain. Trevor McManus will get second. Jake Ham will get third. Brandon Evans, unfortunate for him, was riding in second for a good portion of the race. He'll have to settle for fourth. Patrick Drabick gets fifth. Mark McCreary will get sixth. Jamie Barkus seventh. And Jeremy Gardner, the last driver on the lead lap, will finish eighth. The rest of these guys were one lap down or more. Joe Yates gets ninth. Nicholas Lemberger was 10th. James Goshen gets 11th. James Kaufman will get 12th. Charles Fiskus, after some of the spins that he's had that we've seen live here on the broadcast, he's still going to round out with a 13th place finish. Regis Clark, I believe he disconnected, so he will be 14th. Jacob Ellingson will get 15th. And Doug Ellingson, the last driver to start this evening, has finished 16th. But we'll go ahead, bring in, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and bring in the winner of the race tonight. Looks like it's Cody McElwain getting the win here this evening in the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series here at Watkins Glen. Cody McElwain, you won it. How's it feel, bud?
It feels so good that Cody is bewildered to be able to speak at the moment. There, Cody, you are muted.
I got you now.
Hey, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I was muted. Yeah, no, it feels good, man. I've been struggling on the ovals, when I run this season, so it feels good to come to the road course. It's one of my favorite things to do, so it feels good to get a win here tonight.
Cody, you talked about that with some of the struggles with the ovals. Obviously, the last 2 races before we get to the playoffs is Kansas, and then the ultimate wild card at Atlanta. Usually we talk about the ultimate wild card as being Talladega, but Atlanta's been more of a wild card than Talladega has been here in recent years. But obviously, this has got to put a hell of a lot of pressure off of you not to have to worry about trying to get into the playoffs, because 100% you are locked into the playoffs.
Definitely, man. That's another thing I was telling my teammates. It feels good to not have to worry anymore about getting points and all that good stuff. So, yeah, man, we're there, and I'm thrilled about it.
Dean, you got anything for Cody McElwain right here?
Yeah, mate, can you slow down? 13 seconds. Come on, my friend. Let's make it a motor race, okay? You're too good. I mean, I'm scared what would happen if you put you in the likes of Silverstone and the Spa and all these other classic road tracks. So you would be absolutely destroying your opponents.
Well, I still appreciate those kind words, my friend. And yeah, I mean, I've got more official road starts than I do oval, so it's definitely a thing that I love to do. So feels good to take advantage of it.
Don't tell Jacob he's not a fan of the road courses, my friend, but you are a fan of the road courses, and congratulations on your win there. Cody, the man, the number 6 machine for the Goat Locker Racing. Anybody you'd like to shout out to?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank our sponsors, Jam Printing and Promotions, Veterans for Life Foundation, and Cruising Classics. And I'd also just like to shout out my teammates, as always, at Goat Locker. And then thank y'all, man, for what y'all do in the broadcast booth. We appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Cody McElwain has been struggling this season. Tonight, he does not struggle. Gets the win at Watkins Glen. Cody, congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week at Kansas.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good one.
That was Cody McElwain. Got the win. Done a hell of a job, like I said, able to get it. But let's talk to the second place driver. Get old Trevor in here. And Trevor, getting second right here, it doesn't, obviously it hurts to not get a win. But, to be honest with you, second place here tonight, I don't think that's too bad. What do you think?
No, it's a good points night for sure. Cody, I want his fuel teched. I don't think there's any way he has legal fuel in that truck, but no, he was fast.
Oh,
We're calling for Cody McElwain to run through tech after the race. You heard it live right here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network from Trevor McManus on that one. Wow, shots fired.
No, he's super fast. I've ran with him in some official races, and he's really good at these road courses. I knew he was going to be the person to beat, and I did everything I could, but there was nothing for him. Made a couple mistakes, and at that point, you just can't catch him. He's flawless.
And Trevor, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dean. Go ahead,
I was going to say that, Trevor. You got a little bit of pressure at the end there with Jake, but you managed to hold off that situation. What was going through your mind?
Hoping that he'd be a good teammate and let me just ride home second. I just came in early. Like, I thought the only way I could do anything with Brandon Evans or Jake, get back around him after I messed up, was just pitting early, getting clean track, and going, doing like the whole road course jump, right? So that's what I tried to do, and it worked, but I just burnt my stuff because I was trying to. There was like laps where I'd pick a 10th up to Cody, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna need more than that, but it is what it is.
And Trevor, you just mentioned it just a second ago about the points, having a good points night. This is something you really needed to have. Coming in 9 points above the cut line. Obviously, Cody McElwain gets a win, so everybody shifts now because he was not even up there in the top 14 according to the standings. Right. So this is something that you really needed right here, getting second, even with Cody McElwain getting good points night, but then you got 2 wild card races the next week, or the next 2 weeks, if you will. Atlanta, obviously the last race, but Kansas, not necessarily a wild card, but it can be a wild card to a certain extent with the Truck Series.
Right, yeah, it's a mile and a half, and they're all pretty drafty tracks, but I'm looking forward to Kansas. I like that track, and Atlanta, hopefully all of us Indy guys can get together and go up there and do something for it. I think Daytona or whatever, we had something for them in the beginning of the season, just drafting, people wreck you, so it's just one of those things. Wild card, right?
Absolutely. Wild card with Trevor McManus getting second here tonight over his teammate Jake Ham. Come up 1 spot short, but Trevor, before we let you go ahead and give us your shout outs, bud.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks Jamie, Pat, and all the Goat Larker guys. Thank you to my smoking hot wife and my family for watching. Thank you to the men and women that serve for us, all the first responders. We actually have a teammate that can't make it tonight because he's out doing that exact job.
His name, sir? Go ahead.
Mike Browning. Yeah, he's a firefighter, first responder over in Iowa somewhere. I don't know where, but
big shout out to Mike. Yeah, exactly.
And, yeah. It sucks when he's not out here, but we all appreciate what he does and everybody that does it. Without the men and women in the military and all of our first responders, we couldn't sit here and do what we're doing right now. So we appreciate all of them. I do for sure. So,
We all do,
you know,
my friend.
yeah.
I'm not even
Yep.
of birth or live in the United States of America, but I do. I absolutely appreciate everything you and your patriots do for the love of the great nation, United States of America, as well as this truck series.
Oh, thank you very much, man. Appreciate you.
That was Trevor McManus getting second tonight. Put on a hell of a show. Able to come up one spot short, but still a good points night for Trevor McManus. Now we're going to bring his teammate in right here. This is going to be kind of weird right here. Dean got the Jake and Jake show right here with Jake Ham in third. And Jake, I mean, you know, we talked to Trevor a minute ago. He said he was just kind of hoping you'd be a good teammate, just kind of ride behind him, take that third spot. Was that your mindset, or was you like, you know what, screw it, I want second place?
We get into this and we race for the win. And so I really thought he backed it up and was letting me catch him, you know, to have a good racer at the end, but sounded like he smacked the wall. And so I didn't really know what was going on. And so I probably could have caught a little bit more time on it, made it a little bit more interesting. But at the end of the day, man, Trevor's really good at this track. And I mean, so is Cody. My God. I mean, he's on another level, you know?
Jake Ham, you had the ninth stone out there in the chat there saying, I see a ham sandwich. So fan support, fan boost there in the final dining stages of that race. Would you have set one on the inside there of Trevor and said, let's go racing?
Definitely. I would have. And I think Trevor and I both got tangled up. He had a bad pit entry. And then when I came into the pits, I stopped a little bit sooner than what I should have. I thought I was in my pit box, but I wasn't. And so I think there at the end, we both kind of messed up and it evened itself back out. But if I just could have had a little bit better pit stop, I think I might have had him at the end there.
And, you know, Jake, you just mentioned Cody McElwain. Obviously, he's not in the top 14 in the points, but he is now going to be one of the playoff drivers. So what it's done is it actually shifts everybody down. Excuse me. It shifts everybody down. That's where you're running at. I mean, you come into this race 8th in the playoff standings, 12 points to the good, but now Cody McElwain gets the win. That's going to obviously shift you down a spot. Does that change your strategy up any for the next two races with Kansas and Atlanta lurking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty safe driver anymore. I mean, when I first came into the league, it was like, get out of my way. I'm going to win it or I'm not going to finish the race, you know, type of mindset. But now I've just been, you know, let's finish in the top 5. You know, and I think I just need to be a little bit more aggressive on these ovals that we got coming up and hopefully have the opportunity. I put myself in the positions to win it. I just don't push hard enough at the beginning of the stint, and I think I need to gamble a little bit.
Jake, I'm just looking at the replay real quick there on the pictures. You might not be able to see, but you entered that pit lane. You had to reverse back a little bit. We thought that's it. You know, that challenge is done and dusted, but then you exited the pit lane a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and then Brandon, yeah, I mean, pit entry is everything at this place, and I made the choice to come in with Brandon. I had a really bad run behind him coming around the last turn, and I'm like, I just need to go into the pits, otherwise I'm going to lose too much time. So came in with him, and then I don't know what the world Brandon did. If he took tires there or had too much gas, but I could have swore he was going to be a lot closer, and then, you know, he got behind me and unfortunately spun out on the last turn, you know, a couple laps from the end. So
we're going to watch it right now, the pictures. You're both entering the pit. So that was fantastic as Jacob and I were commentating on this pit stop battle, wasn't it, side by side? You could see. So at this point, you can, you're on the outside, and then he's gone into pit road, and you've gone, all right, let's go. And then you've switched it over and entered into pit road.
Yeah, so right here, he said, I'm going to pit. And it's like, all right. Well, then I thought he swung a little bit wide, but I just went in really deep, apparently. Yep, that's what happened. So I was like, oh, man, I'm so slow right here. I just better take it. And this is where I just dive bombed in there. And I'm just glad it stuck, and I didn't get a speeding penalty, so that was good.
Amazing. What do you think about that one there, Jacob? Have you ever had a situation like that before in your past?
Absolutely, I have, and I've basically seen it all at this point, honestly. But I mean, Jake Ham, fantastic finish tonight, getting the third place finish. Jake, before we let you go, have you got anybody that you want to thank that made this possible?
Absolutely. I want to thank my super hot smoking wife. And then obviously Smart Avenue Realty, which is the greatest real estate company in the state of Iowa. You need to buy or sell a home, you get a hold of me. I'm the owner, I'm the man. And obviously Goat Locker, thanks for hosting. Thanks for everything they do for the vets. And appreciate you guys. It's always fun to go back and watch the stream.
Awesome run for Jake Ham, getting third. He's going to be pretty safe. But, folks, the next 2 weeks is going to be some crazy racing right here. Hopefully, Mr. Jake Ham is going to be able to keep it above the cut line. Jake, appreciate your time. Good run, and we'll see you next week at Kansas.
Thanks, guys.
That was Mr. Jake Ham, and I believe that may end up wrapping us up. Dean, what's your final thoughts on the one road course here in the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series? What's your take from this race?
I have to say, at the end of the day, considering the amount of broadcasts I've done of road course racing, it's been outstanding. The drivers really did show a lot of respect. They really did risk it for the biscuit when they needed to. Of course, really, at the end of the day, my friend, like, even how difficult these trucks are to navigate a classic course like this, outstanding work. I mean, if this was most of the series that I cast, I would expect to see like 3, 4, 5 DNFs immediately, cars into the fence, rolling upside down and everywhere. But it goes to prove you, doesn't it, that even though these drivers do commit to most of their driving around ovals, they can tackle a road course admirably, and Cody is a perfect example of that.
Cody McElwain done a fantastic job tonight, and we was going to bring in Brandon Evans about mid-race. He wanted to do a mid-race report, but to be honest with you, after he got in that wreck, I was like, I don't know, he might be too pissed off, so we just wouldn't bring him in. But hopefully we can talk. There you go. Hopefully we can talk to him next week at Kansas. But folks, that's going to wrap it up for round 7 here at Watkins Glen. Next week will be round 8 at Kansas. Same time, same channel. Hopefully you will tune in with us. And don't forget, tomorrow night, the Concerns of Police Survivors Truck Series starts their playoff run at Darlington at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. As you see right there is the schedule, folks. This is the schedule that you have on your screen. These guys got 2 more races. They got Kansas, then they got Atlanta, then they're going to have a Thanksgiving break and then get thrown right into North Wilkesboro. That's going to be a fun one. Darlington, which where we will be tomorrow night, as I mentioned. And then the Championship 4 going to be decided at no better place. Viva Las Vegas on the Strip. That will be a fantastic race. Great couple of tracks coming up, so hopefully you will not miss the Jam Printing and Promotions Truck Series. Want to thank everybody that's involved here with the Goat Locker Racing Series. Joe Yakes, all of the guys that are involved in it. Obviously, Cody Knott, Brady LaBeouf, everybody involved, all the sponsors, Jam Printing and Promotions, Cruise Classics, Veterans for Life Foundation, everybody involved. Absolute great series. It's going to be a fun one these next 2 weeks. Who is going to make it into the round of 12, have a shot to win the championship here in season 6 with Dean Biggles in the booth? My name is Jacob Reeves. Everybody be safe. We'll see you next week at Kansas Speedway.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Bam.